Hi everyone, welcome to another crochet tutorial with me, Laura, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this cute little foxy amigurumi, and I turn this one into a keyring, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Okay, so for this project we're going to need three main colours. We're going to need some black, some white, and either an orange or a red or a brown coloured yarn. So I'm running a bit low on the orange I use for this little fox. So I'm actually going to swap it for a sort of darky red colour. And going to get some white and some black as well. These are all a DK light worsted weight yarn, so it's a yarn weight of 3. But you can use any yarn that you like, so it's entirely up to you. The thicker the yarn you use, the bigger the fox. The thinner the yarn, the smaller the fox, okay? And with this yarn, I'm using a 3.5mm E4 crochet hook, but you can use any hook that you like that's suitable for the yarn you're using. And you're also going to need some toy stuffing. So I've got some 100% polyester toy stuffing, but you can use any toy stuffing that you can find, like maybe from a pillow or some yarn scraps. You might have some leftover yarn scraps you can use as well. I do recommend, if you're using yarn scraps, to use a light coloured yarn scraps rather than black, because black can sometimes show through. We're also going to need a pair of scissors and a yarn needle as well for sewing in those ends. And you can see it's got a pom-pom tail, but you don't need a pom-pom maker, so we're going to use our hands to make the pom-pom. And I also use some toy eyes as well. These are, what size are these? These ones I used are 6mm solid black eyes, and you can buy these ones on my website actually, on the Happy Berry Marketplace. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to go buy these from there. These ones, they come with these little sort of washers, as it were, and you just push that into your project, clip that in, and that secures it in place. If you're really worried about the safety, if you're using this for a child, then you can just use yarn if you wanted to, if that is better for you, so you can just sew on the face instead. Okay, so I think that's it, so let's begin. Okay, so we're going to start off with the head at the very top to begin. So you're going to start off with your orangey reddish colour. And so for this one, I'm using this darker red. See how this turns out. Ideally, I would like to use more of the orange, but this will do for the video. And we're going to do a little slip knot to begin. And then what we're going to do, we're going to do 8 single crochet in a 4 chain loop. So let's start off with 4 chains to begin. So let's chain 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I'll also write out the pattern to this as well, so you can get the written version on my website at happyberry.co.uk if that's easier and quicker. So once you've chained 4, we're going to put our hook into the first chain to form a loop. So put the hook into the first chain, bring the yarn through the first chain and bring it straight through the loop on your hook. And that creates a little loop of your chain joined at the beginning and the end. In the middle is a hole. So first thing we're going to do though is we're going to do a little chain 1, just get a bit of leverage. And we're going to work 8 single crochet into the centre of this 4 chain loop. So this pattern's in US terminology, don't let the accent fool you, but single crochet in UK terminology is going to be a double crochet. Okay, so we're going to put our hook into the centre of our loop. Bring the yarn through. Be careful not to put it into the first chain because that can look quite big. You really want to make it sure it's going for the center of your loop. Bring the yarn through and do a single crochet. So that's 1, and we're going to do 8 of those. So go back into the center, bring the yarn through, and over pull through both loops. 2. Okay, so you want 8 of these. 3. 4, 5, and if this is a little bit fast, then I do recommend, if you're a beginner, is checking out some of my beginner tutorials. Get used to the basic stitches and then you'll know exactly what you're doing then. And you can come back to these slightly faster ones. 7 and 8. Okay, so when you've got 8 single crochet, 2, 4, 6, 8, we are just going to slip stitch into our first single crochet. So find your first single crochet that you did, put your hook into there, bit neater than I just did. Hook into there, bring the yarn through there, and straight for the loop on your hook to slip stitch and join. So that's the end of round 1. You should have 8 stitches. Then we're going to move on to round 2. I'm going to do a little chain 1. We're not going to count that as a stitch, it's just for leverage. We're going to do 2 single crochet in each stitch round, but we're going to start in the same stitch we just slip stitched into. So we're going to go back into there, do 2 single crochet, 1 and another one in the same stitch, 2, so there's 2 in there. We'll do 2 single crochet in each stitch around until we've got a stitch count of 16, so we're doubling up. Let's go into the next stitch, do 2 single crochet in there, 1 and another one in the same stitch, 2, and just repeat that all the way around, 2 in each, 1 and 2. Okay, just coming up to the last stitch, 2 in the last stitch as well, 1 and another one in the same stitch, 2. Okay, so just done 2 single crochet in each stitch around. Sometimes it looks like there's another stitch at the very end. That's what I call the fake stitch, because that's the slip stitch on top of the other one. So you've already worked into that first one there. So don't, make sure you're not adding extra stitches there, and make sure you've got 16 stitches. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, so we're going to skip that fake stitch there. Skip your tiny little chain 1, which probably disappeared. Find your first single crochet, and we're going to slip stitch into there. Okay, bring the yarn through and straight for the loop on your hook. Just join the round. Okay, so by the end of that round you should have a stitch count of 16. Moving on to the next round, we're going to do a little chain 1 again. Don't count that as a stitch. And we're going to start off with 1 single crochet in the same stitch we just slip stitched into. So go back into that first stitch and do 1 single crochet. And then in the next stitch we're doing 2 single crochet. Okay, so there's 2 in the next one. 1 and 2. And we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So in the next stitch, tail in that way. In the next stitch we do 1 single crochet, so just the 1. Okay, so just 1. Then in the next stitch we do 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. Okay, so then just repeat that. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, back to the beginning. You'll end on 2 single crochet and you should have a stitch count of 24. Okay, so it's working to the 8 times table, 24. So next stitch, 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochet. So even skipping ahead in this video is probably going to be in 2 parts probably. Okay, 1 single crochet, and 2 single crochet. Okay, just going up to the last 2 stitches, same thing again, 1 single crochet, then the very last stitch, 2 single crochet. Okay, so you should end on 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and you should have a stitch count of 24. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4. Okay, so there's your tiny little fake stitch there, and your chain 1's disappeared. So find your first single crochet, and we're going to slip stitch into there. Just join the round. Okay, so that's the end of round 3. Now we're going to do one more increase round, round 4. We're going to start off with chain 1. And this time we're doing 1 single crochet in the first 2. So starting in the same stitch you just slip stitched into, we do 1 single crochet. Then we do 1 single crochet in the next stitch by itself. Then we do 2 single crochet, and it should line up with your previous increase. So do 2 single crochet in the next one, so 1 and 2. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that. So we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. Repeat that pattern back to the beginning. You'll end on 2 single crochet again, and you should have a stitch count of 32 this time. So next stitch, we just do the 1. Next stitch, just the 1. Then 2 single crochet. 1 and 2. Okay, 1, 1, 2. Then back to 1. Next stitch 1. Next stitch 2. Okay, so coming up to the last 3 stitches, same pattern again. Just the 1. Next stitch, just the 1 single crochet, and the very last stitch 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. Okay, there's your fake stitch, chain 1 that disappeared. Find your first single crochet and slip stitch into there. That's the end of round 4, and you should have a stitch count of 32, and that's the end of our increase rounds. So what we're going to do now, we're going to do rounds 5 and 6, and we're just going to start off with a chain 1. I'm going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch round, so just 1 in each, keeping a stitch count of 32. Start in the same stitch you slip stitched into, do 1 single crochet, and just do 1 single crochet in each stitch round, so just the 1. Okay, we're going to do that for 4 rounds. Okay, so for 4 rounds. So I should do that, and then I shall come back. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the last 2 stitches on the last round, on the 4th round. And just like all the other rounds, when you get to the end, we just slip stitch into our first single crochet. Okay, so I've just done 1 single crochet in each stitch around, chaining 1 at the beginning and slip stitching at the end, and I've done that for 4 rounds. Okay, so hopefully it looks a little something like this. Should have started to come in, so you should have kept a stitch count of 32, and the reason we're joining the round at the end rather than working continuously is so that we get a clean change of colour, clean colour change at the back there, so it doesn't go wonky. What we're going to do now is we're going to join the white, so we're going to get the white yarn, and we're just going to do 2 more rounds of 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So we're going to join the white yarn in the chain 1, so just going to hold that with my finger and bring that through my loop, then pull that down and just do the same thing again, starting in the same stitch we just slip stitched into. We do 1 single crochet, and we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around, keeping a stitch count of 32, and we'll do that for 2 rounds. Okay, so do that for 2 rounds this time, just 2. So I should do that, then I shall come back. So just 1 single crochet in each stitch around, keeping a stitch count of 32. Okay, just coming up to the last stitch on the 2nd round. So I've just done 2 rounds in the white, 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and we slip stitch into the first single crochet and we're finished. So we should still have a stitch count of 32, but what we're going to do now is we're going to decrease now. So this is for round 11, so now we're on round 11, and we're just going to chain 1, and it's very similar to round 4. We're just going to start off in the same stitch we just slip stitch into, we do 1 single crochet in there, so continuing in the white, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. Now you can use the invisible decrease if you want to, or normal decrease. The normal decrease, we just go into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, stop, go into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, then we yarn over, pull through all 3. But as you can see, it leaves a bit of a lump, so what we're actually going to do is the invisible decrease. So let's just undo that. And to do the invisible decrease, what we do is we put our hook under the front loop only. So instead of going all the way through like that, we're just going to go under the front loop only, and then we're going to do the same for the next stitch. So just bend your hook down and go under the front loop only of the next stitch. Okay, so you're going through just the front loops only the next 2 stitches. Then we bring the yarn through both front loops, and then we do a single crochet. Okay, and that does an invisible decrease. There's a lot less of a lump. And then we're going to repeat that pattern. So in the next stitch we do 1 single crochet, next stitch 1 single crochet, then we single crochet 2 stitches together. So we go under the next front loop, and then the next front loop, bring the yarn through both front loops, yarn over, pull through both loops to do a single crochet. Okay, and just make sure you work into the next proper stitch. 1 single crochet, the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then single crochet 2 together. So go under the front loop, bend it down, go on to the next front loop, bring the yarn through, do a single crochet. Okay, and just repeat that all the way around back to the beginning until your stitch count goes down, back down to 24. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, single crochet 2 together. Okay, so just go up to the last 4, same thing again, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then we single crochet the last 2 together. So you should end on a decrease, and do the invisible decrease, next front loop, and then we're going to slip stitch into our first single crochet. So make sure we don't do anything with that fake stitch, as I call it. I've actually heard other people calling it that now, which is quite funny. And we're going to slip stitch into there. You can always tell who people have learnt from because they use my little sayings. Okay, then we're going to do one more decrease round. So for the next decrease round, for round 12, we're going to do a little chain 1 to begin, and starting in the same stitch we just slip stitched into, we do 1 single crochet, just the 1, and then we're going to go straight into a decrease. Now you can see our invisible decrease means it just looks like a normal single crochet. You can't see where the decreases are. That's what makes it so good. So we're going to do that again. We're going to single crochet 2 stitches together with the invisible method. So I'm going to go onto the next front loop, bend the hook down onto the next front loop, yarn through both loops, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, then we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around until our stitch count goes back down to 16. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then single crochet 2 together. So I'm going to go into the next front loop, next front loop, pull through, yarn over, and there we go. So just repeat that all the way around. 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then single crochet 2 stitches together. Last 3 stitches, 1 single crochet, single crochet the last 2 together. And then slip stitch in your first single crochet. So that's your fake stitch. Chain 1's down there. This first single crochet, slip stitch into there. Okay, so your stitch count should have gone down to 16. Hopefully looks a little something like this, and with those invisible decreases it's nice and smooth, which is good. It does make it hard to see where they are though, that's the only thing. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the body, and I'm going to do the first round of the body and then I'm going to stop because we're going to add the eyes because it's easier at that point. So what we're going to do for the first round of the body is we're going to rejoin our orange colour or red colour or brown colour, whatever you've used. So we're just going to move the white out the way, and you may have fastened off, you may have just left it. I'm just going to pick it straight back up and bring that through the loop on my hook. Pull the white. And now I'm working with the red again. And I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the first 6. So starting in the same stitch, slip stitched into, do 1 single crochet. I'm going to do it in the first 6. So 1. I'm actually going to carry the white at the same time though. Okay, so let's bring that over. I'll show you what I mean. So in the first 6, so we've done what's 1, next stitch. When I get into the next stitch, I'm just going to prop that white over the top of my hook, and that will carry the yarn around. Bring the yarn through, do a single crochet, 2, and do that again, next stitch, 3, make sure the white's on top, 3, next stitch, 4, next stitch, 5. Then in the 6th stitch we're going to rejoin the white, so go into the next stitch, bring the yarn through. Instead of yarning over with the red, we're going to drop the red, give our white a little tug to make sure it's neat, and we're going to yarn over with the white and bring that through the end of our single crochet. That means we're now working with the white to get a nice clean colour change. So the first 6 are in red, 2, 4, 6. Then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 4 in white, and we're going to carry the red this time. So go into the next stitch, and this time make sure the red is sat on top of your hook, and do 1 single crochet in the next 4 in white. So 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one will rejoin the red. Bring the white through, but when you finish you stop there, give your red a little tug, make sure it's neat. Instead of yarning over the white, we're going to yarn over with the red to finish that 4th stitch, and we've got a nice clean colour change. Okay. And then we're going to finish up with 1 single crochet in the last 6 in the red. And am I going to carry the white? I might as well carry the white. Totally up to you really. I'll sort of take it all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one. If it does make it a bit easier, you can flatten the work. The last stitch, 6, and we're going to finish that in red. I'm not going to change to white. Then we're going to slip stitch. There's our fake stitch in white. Find your first single crochet in red, and we're going to slip stitch into there. If the white gets out of the way. There we go, slip stitch into there. And that's the end of that row. And what that does, it starts to get a little bit of white at the front, and then it's red all the way around. So I'm just going to bring up a loop just to hold that in place. We're going to stop there. We're going to add the eyes at this point. We're going to do the nose and the ears at the end. So, but this is the easiest place to do the eyes. So I'm going to get a couple of these little toy eyes, safety eyes that I've got. Like I said, you can buy these on my website at happyberry.co.uk/marketplace. So we need a couple of little backs to go with that. We're going to place these on the actual line between the orange or red and the white, so just above the arm. So this eye comes in at about how many stitches from the end? Let's have a count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. So it's on the 10th little bit of orange dipping down from the left hand side. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. So it's on top of this one here. So we're going to put our little eye in there, okay, and we're just going to push that through the stitch to the inside. Okay, so just check you're happy where that is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. You see 9 of these little red dips, and then the eye, and then counting over to the other eye. How many we got? You can just do it by eye if you wanted to. It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 stitches in between. 4, 5, just above the arm. It's about there. I think. Push that in. And we want to. That's why we did the first round of the body, you see, because you want to make sure the eyes are in a good position, sort of above the red that side, above the red that side. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. And then when you're happy with the placement of your eyes, we're going to just clip on the backings to secure them into place. So let's turn this inside out. So this is where you're going to make sure you're happy. And it's going to place these on. And clip them down. So you just push these down basically like that. And I'll do that for the other one, and then they should be secured in place. Okay, so I've clipped those on, and it goes down about 3 times with these little eyes here. So when they're secured on, you're happy, we can then move on and finish the rest of the body. Okay, and we'll come back and do his nose at the end. So, rejoining our hook, we're then going to move on to round 14, which is exactly the same as round 13 that we just did. So moving the white out of the way, start off with a little chain 1. And starting in the same stitch we just slip stitched into, we're going to do 1 single crochet. We're doing 1 single crochet in the first 6 again. It's 6, isn't it? Yeah. So 1, next stitch 2, and I'm going to carry the white as I go. Next stitch 2, next stitch 3, next stitch 4, next stitch 5, and next stitch 6. But on the last stitch, this 6th one, I'm going to bring the yarn through, but instead of yarning over with the red, pull on your white a little bit, make sure it's neat, and just yarn over with the white instead. Bring that through. Now we're working with the white. I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the next 4 in the white. So next stitch, I'm going to carry the red this time. So 1, 2, 3, and the last one 4, and on this last stitch is when we rejoin the red. So instead of yarning over with the white at the end, we yarn over with the red, bring that through, and we finish up with 1 single crochet in the last 6 in the red. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Stay with the red and just give your white a little tug, make sure it's neat, and we're going to slip stitch into our first single crochet. Where's our first single crochet? I can't see the wood for the trees. There it is. Slip stitch into there with the red, not the white. Cool. Okay, so that's the second round of the body, and now we're going to move on to round 15. That's my little notepad. These are all my notes. Round 15, we're going to chain 1 to begin. Don't count that as a stitch. So you should be keeping a stitch count of 16. Do a little chain 1. We'll do 1 single crochet in the first 6 again, starting in the same stitch you just slip stitched into. So 1 single crochet in the first 6. So that's 1. Next stitch 2. I'm going to carry that white. Stitch 3, stitch 4, stitch 5, the last stitch 6, and in the last stitch is where we join the white. Let's bring the red through. Instead of yarning over with the red, yarn over with the white. Okay. Pull the tail ends. Then in the white we're doing 1 single crochet in the next 5. So I'm going to carry the red as well. So 1, 2, 3, so it's 5 this time, 4, and next stitch 5, but instead of yarning over with the white at the end, just pull on your red a little bit to neaten it up, yarn over with the red. Then you should have 5 stitches left, and we're finishing up with 1 single crochet in the last 5 in the red. Just carry this white to the end. Slip stitch into the first single crochet with the red. Okay, so that's the end of round 15. So you can see the body coming together. Then round 16, we're going to do a little chain 1 to begin. Chain 1. I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the first 7 this time. So starting in the same stitch, slip stitch into, 1 single crochet in the first 7. So it's 1, 2, 6. Then on the 7th one, instead of yarning over with the red, yarn over with the white, finish the stitch. Okay, so that's in the first 7. Then we do 1 single crochet in the next 4 in the white. Okay, so just in the next 4. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the 4th one we rejoin the red, the end of the stitch. And then we finish up with 1 single crochet in the last 5. in the red. That's 1 and 5. Then slip stitch in the first single crochet. Okay, so that's the end of round 16. Then round 17 is exactly the same. I'm going to do a little chain 1 to begin. 1 single crochet in the first 7. So starting in the same stitch, slip stitched into in the first 7. So 1, carry that white, 2, and 7, and in the 7th one we finish up with the white, change to the white at the end of the stitch. Then we do 1 single crochet in the next 4 in the white, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the 4th one we finish up with the red, change to the red, and we finish up with 1 single crochet in the last 5 in the red, and we slip stitch in the first single crochet to join. Okay, so that's the end of round 17, and that's the end of using the white as well, so you can actually cut the white now if you've had enough of the white being in the way. So let's cut the white, and what we're going to do is one more round, 1 single crochet in each stitch around. We're just going to do it in the red or the orange. Okay, so just chain 1, starting in the same stitch you slip stitched into, do 1 single crochet in each stitch around, keeping it to a stitch count of 16, do it in the red. Okay, let's go up to the end, and when you get to the end we just slip stitch into the first single crochet. Okay, so let's bring up a little loop. So hopefully your little foxy looks like that so far. So join me in my next video and I will show you how to do the nose, the ears, the arms and the little feet and the tail as well, hopefully, or that might spread into a 3rd video, we'll see. Okay, I'll see you for some more crochet soon. I'll link in the description to the next one, and there should be a little recommended thing as well. So join me in video 2.